Natasha, do you think we can start?
Yeah, I think we can. So let us
Let's do it.
slowly start. So first of all, we want to say thank you to Ekaterina, who is very brave, and thanks again for joining us and letting us do this experiment. Because it's quite a new experience, I think, for all of us here. And let us quickly introduce ourselves. So my name is Natalia Leonova. I'm business analyst at DevExperts, and actually I'm also studying and still studying languages because my new language is Portuguese, and also the course for English for BAs is our project with Gleb. So nice to see you all here.
Yeah, nice to see so many people, and so many people with glowing eyes, as I previously described. My name is Gleb Lensman. I teach English. I have been for 12 years at my school, Royal English. I specialize in exam preparation, and there is this brainchild of ours, the course English for Analysts with Next Way. So that's what I do, and I'm excited to welcome you to this interview simulation, which we are going to conduct today for you. I'm going to handle the rules, the rules of the interview, and this is something that everybody should listen to just to understand what's happening in the next hour to hour and a half. So what we are going to do is have a simulation of the interview. We are going to have 5 different rounds of tasks for our candidate, Ekaterina. Ekaterina will need to handle a few different tasks that business analysts usually perform at work. Each task is a different round. We have 5 rounds in total. We will first start with the harder skills, and then we are going to switch to soft skills in the second half. Our presumed duration is 45 minutes for the first 3 tasks, a 5-minute break, and then we are going to take maybe around 20 more minutes for the second half, after which we are going to talk about our feedback. We're going to talk about the upcoming course, and also we will ask you if you have questions. So probably the offer, sorry. We are in an interview today, and the interview may or may not have an offer. Each task will have a certain number of points that Natalia and I will assign at the end of each task. Ekaterina, you will need to remove your headphones for this time. Not right now. It's still not the time. You'll need to remove your headphones at the end of each round, because we will be describing and explaining the stuff that went well and the stuff that didn't. After which you will have a chance to know the points. In total, we have 23 points in all 5 rounds. If you get more than a half in our very friendly and fluffy company, you're going to get an offer if you get at least 12 out of the 23. So it's a race against yourself. I think I've introduced everything. Natasha, anything to add here?
No.
All right. So in case you have questions as we go, you can drop them in the chat, absolutely. And we will do our best to handle them when we can, right? We can't promise it will be immediate, because most of the important stuff will be happening with Ekaterina. So our first focus is, of course, her performance. I suggest we just start. Natasha, back to you.
Yeah. So we will start, as Gleb already mentioned, with the hard skills, and the very, very first part of analyst job about the asking questions and about the requirements solicitation. So just a quick context. So because just imagine that you are a business analyst, so in some development team, and you have an application with so for corporate clients and in so quite a big insurance company, and you need to develop a new feature, and you have so here the common description of this feature, and the task is just ask the correct question to the business stakeholder, and stakeholder today is me. Just imagine you need to ask 3 good questions about this feature. So just the main points here is to formulate the correct questions and also involve me as stakeholder in the business and in the elicitation process.
Yeah, I'll probably just because Ekaterina, I assume you haven't had the chance to read the task. I will read it once again for you, and after this you can start asking Natasha, right? Because she's the stakeholder, the bossy stakeholder today. So you need to participate in a meeting with her. Your primary objective in this task is to clarify and understand the crucial requirements for the new feature, which is during the conclusion of a contract, the contract should be either signed or rejected by an authorized individual from the client side. This is the feature. You need to formulate a set of insightful questions and engage with Natasha to understand and elicit the essence, constraints, and nuances of the feature. Do you have questions about the task?
Thank you, I haven't.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, I think you can start asking Natasha.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me a bit tell about ourselves. We're a development team, and I'm an analyst, and today we will work on our meeting on some construction or maybe the concept of our feature in the future. And my first questions will be, can you describe how you process right now with this activity?
Unfortunately, we don't have the automatical process of signing the contracts. That's why we need to add them in the app. And also we need to define the authorization for our clients.
Yeah, I agree with you. Authorization is really important because it makes your feature more safety, and allow you cut the some unallowed activity in that. But my question was a bit another point. Maybe you right now making it through some paperwork or kind of that.
Yes, it's currently it's performed in the office. So you just need to come to one of our offices, so of our company, and be prepared to sign the documents.
Mm-hmm. It will be wonderful if you can provide to us some quantity of offices and maybe a quantity of customers which visit your offices usually, because it let us in the future calculate correctly download to our features and let them be more stable for all visiting.
Yeah, for sure we can. So just let me ask my colleagues to share some metrics and statistics.
Mm-hmm, thank you. It will be very useful. So maybe you already have some vision step by step. What should our feature do?
Actually, no, because I expect some ideas from your team because
and it will
it's
be.
quite it's now not so easy, not so comfortable for our clients to do everything so offline. And just in case we already have our app, we want to make it so just easier.
I catch the idea. Okay, it's not a problem. Yes, of course, we offer some ideas. One more point in the starting documentation set will be useful to have some template or kind of that, I mean, of this paper contract, which you are usually assigned on the offices. Yep.
Yes, we can provide one.
Because it will be like some base form for our future field labels, which your client will see on the our internet form probably. Okay, it was two big question. Yep, I have one more. Okay, we speak about authorization. We speak about some processes which we should build in the future. Maybe we should discuss some rules or maybe standards, I mean by the law, which control your sphere and which we should notice in our process.
Yes, you mean so the regulatory documents, I think we can, but we need to specify which one do you need, because there are quite a lot. So insurance is quite so a big domain. So there are many restrictions and many regulatory documents.
I understand it. Okay, maybe firstly we should research the documentation which we discussed before. Yep, and maybe we ask it at after that. To tell the truth, I think that for the first site, it's enough. We should start from some point. Maybe we fix on that, making some first research and come back and continue our meetings and our discussion next time.
Thank you. Just let me know in case of additional questions.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So the way it's going to work, we will give feedback after each of the rounds, and I think that we might need a couple of seconds, right, for Ekaterina to take off her headphones, because right now we are going to discuss what just happened. Switching off the sound is not enough. You also need to take off the headphones. So you need to yeah. Oh, you can't hear us. Well, supposedly you can. Yeah, so you should not be able to hear it.
I cut all sounds on my laptop, so I wouldn't hear.
Okay.
You
yeah,
just show
fine.
me some special sign. Yep, when I can.
Okay. So this will be switch off the sound, and this will be come back. Okay. All right. So switch off the sound, please. Natasha, I think we can start with your feedback, right?
Yes, from my perspective, so from the customer and so BA perspective, the questions were quite good. So the key points were covered. So the my expectation were about the authorization process. And so we have one question about the authorization, and also about some details regarding the documentation sign-off process, and so on. We also have one question. The thing that was missed from my point of view was about the rejections, because we have described, and also it was mentioned in the task, that the customer could reject the insurance, and this is quite an important point from my side. So from my point of view, Ekaterina received 2 points from 3.
Okay. Well, so I'm not sure if you can see this on my screen. I really hope you can. There should be the points that I would assign to her, and I will explain why, right? In terms of English, in terms of how the questions were constructed, I was satisfied because Ekaterina was able to use the language correctly. So she communicated her idea well. Natasha could understand her. The stakeholder is clear on what is being asked. So no problem. In terms of English, it was acceptable. However, if you noticed, the way she asks questions is not grammatically correct. So it's just not the standard way of asking questions. I wrote down the 3 questions that she asked. She says, maybe you make something, maybe you have some like steps or action plan. Maybe we should discuss something. So the way she asks questions is non-standard. Non-standard, but understandable by a stakeholder. I think that this is acceptable. However, of course, it would be better to use the standard way of doing this in English and leave a better impression as a specialist at work and at potential interviews. So I'm giving Ekaterina a score of 2 out of 3. That's the result. And again, if you have questions, any of the people who are watching this right now, I know there are many, please drop them in the chat. We will do our best to answer them potentially at the end of our interview. Now back to what? To Natasha. Natasha, I think it's the second one.
Yes, so we should ask Ekaterina to join us. Special sign. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Ekaterina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, which I found just late than our interview final was a brilliant, I think was a brilliant idea if we make some role play with a stakeholder. For example, if I am client, you a manager, I visit a, for example, point and we can catch the step-by-step this process. Yep, I should make it, but I don't.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah,
no, I just
it usually happens like that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Natasha, the second one is yours. I'll handle the third one.
Could you share the screen?
I think I could. Give me 1 second, please. And thanks for reminding. Yes. Share my screen. Task number 2. The second task is user stories. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Ekaterina has a spoiler here because she already knew the context of this task. But the task is quite standard. I think it's quite so typical requirement on the interview. So about asking how you actually write the requirements. And let me just read the task. It's quite easy. Ekaterina, we will ask you to write 3 stories that are corresponding to the requirements described above. And I think it should be quite simple. So imagine that you are an analyst in a company that offers ride sharing services, so similar to Yandex or to Uber, and you are in the point of user here, so as passenger, and you need to monitor your journey, you need to make payments, you need to think about the car that you would receive as a customer. And just the task itself is to write 3 user stories. So you need to write 3 stories about the passenger's needs and also about interactions with the app. And don't forget, please, about the invest criteria. So, because the stories should be clear and they should be useful for the clients. And so it could affect not only the journey itself, but maybe some needs from passenger point of view, and also all details that are possible in this case.
Okay. Can I have a couple of minutes for preparing? Yep.
Yeah, sure. And also you have here extra task. It's also quite standard in case you would provide the acceptance criteria for one of the stories. It would be perfect also.
Okay.
Right. So whenever you're ready, you can just share your user stories.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could put them in the chat also, just to
Agreed.
so
Okay.
for everybody to be able to see them.
Mm-hmm. For the amphitheater to see what the stories are. For everybody who is watching, please, if you have questions about the task, about the answers, the marking, we'll be happy to answer. Just leave them in the chat. Oh, Anton, yes, that's that's a good point. That there is no preparation time. True. We could push Ekaterina to start faster, but I think it's fair enough to give anybody, any candidate, just the right amount of time.
Sorry.
No, I wasn't talking to
One
you.
more
I was
minute.
just answering a comment in the chat. The idea, Ekaterina, is that people want to see your stories.
I can make it step by step, or I can make it all them at once, as you wish. I have already 2 of them.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I can
Would you be
intrigue a bit
comfortable?
more. Huh?
Yeah, would you be comfortable starting with 2 and then adding a third one as we go?
Okay,
Yes?
no problem. One
Let's do
sec.
it.
Yeah, we just could start discussing them.
Format a bit. Yep, for easy reading. Okay. First and the last. You can start discuss. I finish my own.
Okay, so no worries, I will just start. So reading the first two. So the first story from Ekaterina, you could see it in the chat, just in case. So as a taxi app user, I want to be able to split the cost of a ride with my friends. So acceptance criteria, I think so criteria means so. Acceptance criteria in this case. The split button appears after the ride and divides the amount correctly. Okay. And the second one, so the second user story, as a family profile owner, I want to be able to see charge for each family member separately. And acceptance criteria here line with budget in section payments. So let us wait for the third one.
So we're looking for one more user story here, and I think we're almost there.
Yeah, last but not least.
Well, yeah. As Ekaterina is finishing, I will remind of the criteria. So it should be a reasonably good BA story. Excellent.
Okay.
And it should be written in reasonably good English. These are the criteria. So,
I
yeah.
take off, yep.
Right. Yeah, Natasha, do you want to read the last one?
Yeah, I could. So let us summarize all of the stories together. So the third story is, as a cab app user, I want to be able to send my location and route progress for some contacts in my phone book. And criteria, new available during the trip.
Okay. Well, I think we can give feedback. My number is ready. Is your number ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, then it's you first, and I'll go second.
So let me start from the stories itself. I think so from the stories perspective, they are quite good, and also from the template And from invest criteria, I actually have some doubts in acceptance criteria, because in 2 stories, they are not enough from my perspective, because we just expect some more details, and also in case we want a story to be testable and to be investigated by the QAs, for example, they just need more details.
Right. So if we imagine that 0 is no answer and 3 is the perfect user stories, how would you rate this this answer in terms of BA, business analysis?
I think it's also 2 points.
So 2 points. Okay. Right. Let me do this. I'm going to tell you about what I would give for this, and I honestly don't think that we would have the liberty to give half a point, but I'm giving half a point here because I see no better way to express what I think of the answer. So as you can see, as most of you noticed in the chat, the user story doesn't have a value part. It doesn't have the so that, which is a bit upsetting because every user story should provide some value, right? It should be aimed for something. In terms of BA, this is probably not very good, right, Natasha? In terms of English, this doesn't allow me as your listener, as a person who evaluates the soft side of your answer, to figure out how you would handle so that in terms of grammar. So you just didn't do it. You avoided this. So I don't know how you would handle this. My understanding is that you would need to use a modal verb in this part. So there are some specifics that I would like to see. I cannot see them. Also, in terms of English, I didn't understand the last acceptance criteria. I did understand the first 2, but I couldn't understand the third one. So I think this would be borderline performance between, okay, this is acceptable, and no, this is not acceptable. So I'm giving it a 1.5. Right, so Innocentia shares that the ideas are brilliant. A question about the task from Mikhail. Well, I think we are ready to move on to the next task, unless, Natasha, you want to comment on anything in the chat.
No, I agree with most of the comments and happy to see so faces of the colleagues in the chat. Okay.
All right. So I will respond to Mikhail then. I'll try to do it very quickly. Mikhail, it wasn't the task to the task wasn't to start with the items that we mentioned, like pay, book, and monitor. The task, it's possible to interpret it in any way you see fit. So it was not limited to those 3 things. So yeah, I hope this answers the question, and I think we are ready to move on to round 3. But before that, I need to give a special sign to Ekaterina. Ekaterina? Marina likes Ekaterina's ideas. Well, I do think that they were great and valuable in general. Now, round 3, the last round before the break, and we are going to look at non-functional requirements. This task is supposed to be relatively easy for you because in this task, you will need to show your knowledge of the terminology of business analysis in the area of non-functional requirements. As everybody presumably knows in this audience, we have a lot of entities, various words and terms that describes the non-functional requirements a system might have. Today, we're looking at 3 specific entities. These are scalability, redundancy, and maintainability. Yeah. So these 3 are the words that I would like you to clarify, Ekaterina, to us. So for each of these 3 words, please provide a definition or give an example or scenario where this non-functional requirement would be vital, would be very important. This is one thing that you should do. Another thing that you should do is recommend a possible solution or measure if you want to achieve or improve on this non-functional requirement. So imagine the system doesn't have enough of this. How can you improve? How can you improve the system? Do it for every one of the 3 words: scalability, redundancy, maintainability, and no Googling. All right?
Okay.
So, yeah. Do you need clarifications about the task?
No, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, so definition or example, and how we could improve this thing.
Okay, we can start from the first, scalability. It's usually opportunity of some system or maybe network or maybe process as a part of system deal with some downloads and maybe from time to time increase, for example, opportunity of scalability. It can be connect with added quantities of our customers, for example, or maybe we start or initiate some new processes which include in previous, and it again sharply increase our visitors of our site, for example, or our clients, as we can name that. We usually use 2 opportunities cover this issue. Firstly, it can be some technical, we can add some stuff or some tools, I mean hardware, yep, which can give us some new opportunities for dealing with our new customers. And second one, it's optimization. Maybe it's about quantity of inquiries, if we can split, for example, some of them, or it can be re-engineering of our service, maybe code base or some of them, yep, which again make lower quantity of interaction between system and the technical base. Probably that's all about scalability, which I have to tell you about that.
Excellent. Let's move on to redundancy. Right?
About redundancy, it's about some extra, maybe extra data, maybe some extra information, or maybe some extra activities which we made. For example, it's fun, but redundancy can be as a cause of scalability. If we're making some activities which not really need to make our service. Maybe it's sometimes, not sometimes, but mostly it connects with some doubling, for example, when we make 2 inquiries instead of 1, for example, which can be modified and maybe more universal for our goals. About redundancy, I not truthfully deal, it's in my experience, but maybe it's again can be reworked with the analyzing of, for example, code base or algorithms of our services. And it should be easier for dealing with a big quantity of sources. I think, yeah, we can go to the next one. About maintainability, it's really crucial in our times, yeah, because all technical stuff, all our informational systems breaks from time to time, and we should make some renovation. And maintainability, its ability of our stuff to be recovered and continue dealing with all goals and all tasks which we put to that. So if we're speaking about situation when our system broke, it should be two ways. Yep, when we can deal something with that, or when we can throw it away and making, for example, some new service which we will use instead of that. How we can deal with maintainability, we can, for example, when we create some new service and understand that it can be that it can be more universal and cover goals of two of them, for example, we can split it and make in one instrument which can be used in the both of them, and so it can help us save some power for dealing in the future with our system. Probably I finish.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thus, it's probably time for us to start if Ekaterina has finished. So my task is easy. I'm assessing the English part of this, right? So your task is harder, I think. Ekaterina, right?
So actually, I think it was a kind of perfection from my side, because I have only one doubt in the last term. So regarding the maintainability, because I think it was a little bit complicated from Ekaterina's point of view, because so maintainability usually is just so the way that a system or application can be modified or maintained so over the time, and it's just so the easy explanation of this term. Regarding the two other terms, I'm completely agree. So because it was right from my understanding. And regarding the question in the chat about the correct and right answers, we will share the Notion after the interview. So with all of the details, with all the answers. So from my perspective, it's three points. No matter of the maintainability, but still.
Okay. All right. That's a tough one. For me, honestly, I will explain my reasoning why I'm giving you 2 out of 3. It's a really tough one. Okay, let me start again. The 3 words here were, I'll show you again. The 3 words were scalability, redundancy, and maintainability. Scalability is how we can handle increased workloads or reduced workloads, how, if necessary, we can make the system handle more, so to speak. At least that's the way I understand it. I think this was quite close to the definition. Redundancy, I would say this is the fact that we have more elements in the system that in the case something fails, something else can take over and just continue performing the work. And I would say Ekaterina had a different definition of redundancy. And I guess we can rewatch the replay of this video, but I think it was a different one. I'm not satisfied that it was this many. As for maintainability, I will just rely on your opinion, Natash. I think if you're saying that it was okay, then so it was. I particularly object to redundancy. I think this was not the thing. Natash, would you agree with that, or would you challenge that?
I would agree, because I think it's just so too complicated explanation. So maybe with too many details, and that's why you have doubts. And it's clear for me, because I also just mixed it up. But the meaning itself was correct. So the explanation. So I couldn't say that it's wrong.
Okay. Well, so yeah, in terms of a person who is a non-professional, I'm certainly not a business analyst, and just a lay person who knows a little bit about this, it sounded different from what I would expect from redundancy. So that's my score. In terms of English, overall, it was persuasive, it was convincing, and overall, I would say we did well in this task. Judging by the absence of questions in the chat, I assume that most of the audience agree with us, but in case you have any, please drop them in the chat. That's it. That's it for the first part, the hard skills part of the interview. We will put Ekaterina back on, and then we will put everybody back off, because we are going to have a break, an intermission. No, Ekaterina doesn't want to put her headphones back on. That's all right. We are going to now take a break. The break is going to be 6 minutes. Everybody has a chance to go to the kitchen, maybe in the office, maybe not, pour excellent, delicious coffee, and then be back in 6 minutes. Let's 7:52. Okay, let's be back at 7:59. All right, 7:59. Everybody, see you here. Right. Excellent timing. Thank you. Nastya, we have Nastya who is helping us today. She manages and handles everything, makes sure that things run smoothly. Yeah, the second part is soft skills. And I think this is the part where we have just 2 tasks. The first one is regarding written communication. The second one is about oral communication. So we will test these skills for Ekaterina. Everybody who hasn't yet switched on their camera, I highly recommend you do that, because we are not like Friedrich Nietzsche. We don't like to stare into the abyss. We like to see human faces, right? I hope you will switch on your cameras, of course, if you can. Written communication, Natash, who handles this, you or me? Who is that?
We can do it together, but
Can we do it in unison? I think we need to do it in unison. Okay, I'm going to do, you're going to do written communication. I'm going to do oral communication, all right?
Okay, no worries. Yes, I think it's so quite standard thing, because we as analysts, we need to write requirements and to communicate written with our customers, with our team, and also with a lot of colleagues. And we also want to participate in the conferences. We want to handle some documents. So it's quite an important thing. So let's give us some context, we would ask Ekaterina to do quite a simple thing from our perspective. We would ask her to read the email. So the email you could see below after the task description, and just think about some areas and maybe parts of this email, or maybe of some words or expressions that could be improved. And we have 4 criteria. That's quite the standard, I think, language thing, because all so written communication related things could be described with the following criteria. So we have communicative achievement, we have vocabulary, we have grammar, and we have, it's my favorite one because it also sounds strange in Russian, it's coherence and cohesion. Could I help? I just so think that I said it incorrectly, but still.
No, you did really well. You did really well. Three out of 3.
Good. So we would ask Ekaterina to read the mail and to find the gaps. And just so make some kind of improvements. I think you just could say what is here incorrect and what could be improved. And
be patient.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay, I spent a couple of minutes for reading that.
I'll actually read this out to you, so no worries. To you and everybody who is listening, just to make sure we are on the same page, I will read out this email in a business analyst voice, okay? Hello, I hope you're good. So I think about project. You remember we talked near coffee place? This project with blue picture. About this, software not work right. It's not bad, but it has problems. You know, yes? First, our customer, the one in big city building. They not happy because software is slow. And oh, I see slow turtle today, but software is important, yes? It also has mistakes. We need fix. Next, we try make software better, but it gives strange message. Message say cannot do. Also, I eat good pizza today, but software is what we talk about. Last thing, software not work with new computer things. It not connect. Like my phone not connect to computer. Funny, yes? Can we talk? Maybe near coffee place? Thanks, Alex. Right?
Really
Katrina,
nice.
I hope this makes your task a bit easier. You have a message to handle. And Anton, you're exactly right, but let's see how it's terrible.
Okay, firstly, if we go through our criteria, communicative achievement, we can find there's some general meaning in that, but it's hide, in too much detail. So I like structure. Firstly, I like structure of this letter because each new idea starts from the next point, so we can use something like that. Firstly, hello, it's not enough here. We should use some pleasant name. It will be better, even if they are just met near the coffee point, they can maybe change with some, contact in LinkedIn, I don't know, kind of that, or maybe visitka label card.
Business card?
Business card, thank you. So would be better use here like hello, Mr. Red. Next one, first point about I hope you're good, where we meet, I cut at all, and instead of that use some small introduce that we are development team, blah blah blah, we're working together, for example, on this application or the project of something, and I have several issues for discussing with you. Or for example, we can continue discussing of our issues here through the messages. And after it, this first, next, and last, we use 3 points with describing our issues. Yep. First of all, maybe we can use the good structure when there is a problem, blah, blah, blah. For example, slow software. And some offer how we can deal with that. Yes, of course, all we are understood that we should fix it, and all these words, it's a bit a mess. And it's difficult to understand clearly what they are offer. The general idea, yep, of it that we should offer the some decision, or maybe, for example, making some appointment for discussing that in some extra, with some extra colleagues, added colleagues. Okay, first point about software is slow. Yeah, we should make it shorter and more clear. Next, we try make software better, but it gives strange message. Also, I got pizza today. Really fun fact. Thank you. I think we can use instead of that some forms. For example, we have some complaints with the difficult for understanding message cannot do. We offer use instead of that. For example, we find some problem, we fix it, blah, blah, blah. Here we should use the some offer for our stakeholder, how we can fix it. If we have several cases or some variety, yep, which we can choose, we can offer that. Or again, for example, we can offer, make an appointment and see it on the some layouts or maybe mock-ups, and how it can be in some real application. Last thing, software not work with the new computer things. Poor guys. It not connect, like my phone not connect to computer. Funny, yes. Can we talk? Maybe near coffee place. Truthfully, here it's a point for discussing. We can't resolve this issue through the messaging. The first idea about appointment and discussing some details and fixing some details would be better here. Thanks, Alex. Again, as our first part, it's not enough. It should be the some more details about who is Alex. Maybe it's analyst of several development teams, or such development teams would be named, and easier indicate who is that, this Alex. Okay, came back, communicative achievement, vocabulary. The language should be a bit more formal without extra details like a pizza, and something more personal, which can be okay with friends, but not okay in office messaging. About grammar, we lose some structure, but all we are studying English, and okay, it can be. Coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion. And again, to same bin, yep, it's difficult to find necessary details through all this mess. If we cut extra details, it will be easier, and I think we can make more clear what should we do, or do we want from our stakeholder.
All right, thank you. Thank you for highlighting the items that need to be corrected. I would like to know if you want to add something in terms of vocabulary and or grammar. Maybe there is a specific thing you would like to correct.
I think that we should be maybe more accurate with these technical terms, like, for example, software is slow. Usually we use some more specific, yeah, for example, we check that this characteristic was not so fast as we want, for example. About grammar, it's again difficult. We should, instead of all this text, write some new, yep, which would be more English. Oh, for example, if we notice this sentence, you remember we talk near coffee place, this project with blue picture, we can transform it to some more more beautiful form, yep, for example. or use the some separate name. Oh, for this project with a blue picture. It's grammatically correct, but understandable at all.
Okay, so I have no questions. Natasha, do you have questions on this task? Ready to give the score? Yeah. All right, Ekaterina.
See you.
Yeah. See you very soon. Okay. Well, you probably saw what was happening. Oh yeah, Natasha, you're first. Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. Please go first.
No worries. So from my perspective, Ekaterina did well because she explained a lot of mistakes, and it's hard for me to say exactly the failures of all 4 aspects, but from common sense, so she was right because the vocabulary was not okay. I maybe expect more details about stylistics and formal and informal way of writing emails in this case, because it's quite an important part of our regular job, as we discussed in the beginning. But the key ideas were catched, and I'm happy with them.
So let's say if 2 was the maximum score that you could assign and 0 would be the minimum score, you would give it what?
I would give 1.5.
Okay, that's an interesting score, I would say, because importantly, we gave the same score, both of us. Okay. Let me explain why I gave Ekaterina this same score. Hopefully, you will agree with me on that. So I heard quite a lot and extensively about the style of this email and why it's not good. There is no greeting. Some part of the email is informal. We also know that the style is very obscure, right? There's just so much information and you cannot see the meaning through it. You cannot pierce all of this mess to see the meaning. So in terms of communicative achievement, I'm quite satisfied. I'm also satisfied with coherence and cohesion, and the way Ekaterina suggested, putting things into boxes, reorganizing the text so that it would be easier to read. So here I would say it's another point out of the 4. The vocabulary and grammar were less well covered. I would say that the grammar of this was not covered at all. She said, just throw it out and write a new text. This is not a suggestion. This is not a recommendation for what we can improve, right? And also when I pressed Ekaterina for a specific thing, she didn't respond. So unfortunately, I cannot give any points for grammar. Vocabulary-wise, she was, when pressed again for the answer, she was able to reply. I would say yes, it's acceptable. Overall, my score is 3 out of 4, but because I can only give 2 points in this task, it's 1.5 out of 2. So yeah, that leaves us with 1.5 for each of us, right? Let's see what questions we have. Maybe there is something that we need to reply to. Sounds like a haiku, right, in English, exactly. A terrible grammar, exactly. Common errors, verb endings, auxiliary verbs missed. Yes, a lot of this. Is missing some general idea. Right, we need to probably let them know why we are writing the letter. It would be better to propose some action plan. Exactly, Mikhail. And exactly. The previous message was also from you, so exactly and exactly. Good. So I think we are ready to move on to the last task, unless there are comments from you, Natasha. Any comments? No, ready to move on. Okay. Ekaterina, please, welcome back. We need you back. Right. Thanks everybody who has made it to the final task on during today's webinar, during today's interview. This is about oral communication. We are going to watch a short video in which a business analyst will be presenting to an audience. There is a simple framework that we can use to think of presentations. The framework is about being connected with the audience, using impactful visuals, and your delivery, right? How you present. So if you do these three things, connect with the audience, make impactful visuals, and deliver well, you will be delivering a good presentation. So what's going to happen? There will be a YouTube video of 2 minutes. We're going to watch it together. Hopefully everybody has broadband internet to watch it without glitches. We are now going to watch it, and you will need to write down the mistakes or areas of improvement in Anna's presentation. Anna is the business and the manager, sorry, in this video. As you watch Ekaterina, your task will be to make note of specific moments where Anna makes a mistake, where she is doing something wrong in terms of connecting with the audience, in terms of her visuals, or in terms of her delivery. Explain why this is a problem. You can do it orally after we finish watching, and offer a recommendation for Anna. That's what you need to do. Any questions about the task, Ekaterina?
No, I haven't.
Okay, let's do it. So what I'm going to do right now is just restart broadcasting my screen, and then we will hopefully be able to watch with the sound. Okay. Just a second. Well, let's watch.
My name is Ana Martinez Alemán, and I am a division manager for a software development company. Recently, I made a push for a complete update of one of our legacy products. The product was outdated, we were losing money, we were losing credibility. We needed to update. As division manager, I was tapped to plead our case to senior management. I thought, no problem. No one knows this program or its potential better than I do. I've got this. I made the presentation to my manager and a few colleagues first to get their buy-in. Sorry I'm late. I forgot the handouts. I know everyone's busy and we have a lot of information to cover, so let's jump right to it. Today, we're going to talk about system integrators product upgrade. And once you see the information that I prepared for you, you'll understand why it's important for us and the clients. Oh, could you pass these? And how about we start with a few figures. Looking at the sales analysis from 2009 to 2013, as you can see, we don't upgrade, we lose revenue. And if we look at the history of sales,
excuse me, how long did you say this would last?
No way senior management's going for this.
No kidding.
I just wasn't.
So this was the story of Anna's presentation, and this is how it happened. I hope everybody gets their own vibes from such videos. I would like to know, Ekaterina, what impression did you get, and what suggestions can you make for Anna to improve her performance?
Totally, I'm not. No, she's really brave and really enthusiastic, and it's really good that she finds this energy to pitch her idea for stakeholders and the boss and their colleagues. But I can offer fix some points. Would be great. Yep, corrected. First, it about some technical preparation. This screen view, it was good, but better maybe connect the some screen view and this material which she give them in this label. And for example, from time to time, making the some not that these graphs with the huge mess of number which we see, for example, on the screen, you can find on this page and be more and easier make the some acquaintance maybe with the some numbers. But mostly okay, we can deal with this screen too. I have some points about content. We see these complex figures with big tables that can be represented by the some graphs, which easier for communicate and easier for understanding and for showing the some trends. Maybe if we're speaking about money or maybe the some customers and something of that. About the some introducing of this meeting and final part would be great corrected, because at the start it's really important. Even if we hurry, even we late a bit, yep, we should find some couple of minutes for freeze up our auditory and maybe give them the some intro about goal of our meeting. And in the final part, we should close all our discussion about the some several next steps, for example, or maybe about the some questions. Q&A session would be fine, but okay, from time to time we haven't time for it. Maybe she can fix the some arrangement or next steps for that. And the last part, which I want correct in her script, it's about the some communication. First of all, she was about her lateness. Yep, she apologized, but not so sincerely as she should be. Yep, or maybe not give the some extra information, but give the some right words for that. Besides of that, all her presentation, she make it through her back. He should make this eye contact and find the some maybe fire in eyes of other colleagues. I already marked about the some presentation materials. It can be prepared in more friendly manner. That's all, I think. Yep.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Sasha, are we ready to give feedback? Yes? Okay. Well, yes. Let's take a break here. Natasha, as always, you go first. I throw you under the bus, and then I will be like the second person to wrap this up.
As usual. So I think it's not only from the BA perspective, but also from common sense. We all saw that the preparation was not enough, and also we could imagine that Anna is quite a good specialist, but the preparation was really bad. And not only from the language perspective, but also from some organizational things. And Ekaterina mentioned, I think, quite everything regarding the appearance, regarding the templates, regarding the presentation itself, also about the meaning of some values on the on the screen. And for me, the main thing was that we just didn't receive enough subject here. So the topic was not covered. And it's not only about the presentation itself, so presentational skills of Anna, but just about the common sense, I would say. And I think so Ekaterina covered everything. So from my perspective, so it's 2 points.
No, you have 3 points.
3 points, when 3?
3 points, 3 points,
That just
okay.
makes...
When you said the subject is not covered, you mean she didn't communicate the message, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I see. Okay, well, then let's see what I've got. It's 1 out of 1. In terms of soft skills, this time not English so much. Ekaterina mentioned all 3 items from the framework. As you remember, it's connect to the audience. She must seek eye contact. She must not turn her back on the audience. She must be engaged. And probably it's a good idea to engage them. The second thing, the visuals, you all saw they were outrageous. They were just too bad. So the visuals were also mentioned by Ekaterina, how she would make, make this chaos into something more structured. The last thing that she mentioned was the fire in her eyes, and that's when we are talking about delivery, of course. So these 3 items were all mentioned by Ekaterina. I cannot but give her the highest score, which means that we are at 4 out of 4 points. Let's see what the people are asking. Dear people, it's Anton. Not formal language. She was late, forgot handouts, didn't hand them out. Right. No presentation structure, too much data on the screen. Yes, that's all correct. Giving it a like. Mr. Mikhail, missing point, storyline of the presentation, structure, summary was missing. Yes, it might be the problem with the presentation, or it might be just the video that shows, as you saw, just the highlights, a few moments in this presentation. Everything else was mentioned. Yes, Mikhail, you are right. And everybody's right, especially about it being the final stage of the interview. So we want to put Ekaterina back on. Ekaterina, we need you back. Ekaterina probably is not looking at us, but maybe it's better to write her a message in the chat. I think we are counting the points right now. I hope our Anastasia will do that for us, and we have the points. I think the maximum score is 23. We counted before the interview. So let's see how many points Ekaterina got in this interview. Well, we have the first results, and it's in just a minute. Overall, this is the score out of 23, and the result is this. Let's see what happened here. Overall, it's 19.5 out of 23 points, and the result is offer received. Ekaterina, very well done. Thank you for participating. You can now work at our company, which is called, we need to decide what it's called. I think it should be called the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, that should be the name of our company.
It's funny that I understood the name of company in the last part of interview.
Yeah, well, it's good that you finally know this. Okay, all right. So this was the result of the interview itself. I think we need to add a couple of points. At least I would like to add a couple of points. on my own part. Natasha, do you want to do that first, or do you want me to do that first?
As you wish.
As I wish. Okay, I will go first, at least for once. So I have quite a few notes, extensive notes on your performance, Ekaterina. In terms of English, I'm satisfied. How you were answering. I think the main purpose of this language is to communicate a message. All right. For a person in your position of a business analyst, this is especially important, as you need to spend a lot of your time at work in communication, either written or oral, and you need to always communicate the message and understand people the way they communicate the message. So that's what you did. I would say your English language is good. All right. However, there is always a however. There are a few things that I would like to see improved. Mainly your problems in terms of me understanding you, they stem from the incorrect choices you make in terms of vocabulary. Sometimes you make just the incorrect choices. For example, the word instrument is generally not used unless it's a brand name, such as Native Instruments. You would, yeah, you would most probably choose the word tool. The word download in one of the earlier tasks was used incorrectly in the sentence calculate download to our feature. You probably wanted to say something like calculate the load on our feature. So just the word choice was incorrect. Process with this activity. This was the case when I didn't understand the meaning, probably because of the first choice you made in this phrase, process. And there was a cluster of issues regarding offer and suggest, and decision and solution. Okay. So solution is what the company offers. Decision is one of the choices that you make. This is important to remember. So you're working on a solution, but not a decision. And the other one is offer versus suggest. So offer is what something good that somebody wants to give you. This is an offer. And suggest is an idea for how to change or improve something. They are indeed translated as предложение, both of them in Russian, but it doesn't mean that the meaning is the same. The meaning is actually quite different. So when you say, when you make a word choice that is not correct, and especially when it happens in one phrase 2 times, such as offer a decision instead of suggest a solution, this is when a person who is close to a native speaker stops understanding and must work harder to process your message. So the word choices would be one area where I would like to see an improvement. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Natasha, over to you.
Yes, thanks, Gleb. And thanks, Ekaterina. I just want to say thank you again for your braveness here. And my impression was quite good. I think you did well. So in the main parts from business analysis perspective, it was good. Maybe in some cases we want to handle some details. Just for example, in the exercise with user stories, with acceptance criteria, but so we could think that we just didn't have enough time in this case. And also the main point that I want to mention is the language barrier that you actually don't have. And I think so Gleb will agree with me, hopefully, because it's very important in our regular job, just not be afraid to speak up and to share the ideas. And just in case you make some mistakes, it's okay. But we always have some some places to improve ourselves and also to improve our skills. And I was really impressed with the terminological knowledge because it's really hard. So, and also in our area, they have a lot of so difficult terms, and it's very good that you know them. And I think that's it from my side. And now I think it's time to you to say, so how actually it was, how it actually was. What is your impression?
First of all, I really appreciate opportunity to test myself here because to tell the truth, it's my first interview in English. I just prepared for it, but my team right now, I'm in development team, it's Russian speaking. I never work in English, just studied and maybe practice from time to time. But like in this form as interview is my first time. I'm not very pleased with my preparation for this interview, especially because of this some offensive mistake, because I really know this some details, but understood it after we finish this pass. And but it's really great because it's opportunity for me to understand that I should be more accurate, more attentive in preparing, and don't believe, this feeling that it will be okay. I shouldn't. You should. And you should try make it in practice because it make your skills and habit of speaking to and some dealing with technical interview better. Yep. So again, thank you two guys for opportunity making that. Sorry, dear colleagues, if was boring from time to time because it was a bit difficult for me. I was nervous, but hope that you find something useful during our process.
Yeah, thank you so much. And not only for your performance, but for your performance when 70 people are watching, right? No pressure at all. It's at the beginning we had 70, slightly fewer people right now. Yeah, no pressure at all. Thank you so much. I think we can move on to the next point. We are going to talk about the upcoming course that is going to happen starting next week around the same time on Wednesday will be the beginning of our next course, English for Analysts. This is the third stream of this course, and we are going to spend 5 weeks studying the various aspects of English and business analysis combined. This course is for those people who want to work for English-speaking companies, foreign companies, for people who want to work for English-speaking teams, not necessarily companies, for people who want to check their readiness for such work, and for those people who might or might not be working already for such companies and need an action plan for how to improve their communication. So these are the main groups that should be interested in this course. In addition to this, the content covers all of the weeks that we all saw in today's interview. We had the content of 5 weeks presented in the 5 tasks of the interview. So you will have a chance to complete the tasks yourselves. And in addition to this, we are going to insist that you check your Telegram. I think there is a message from the bot that allows you to quickly register for the course. This course starts next week, and it's time to sign up. Natasha, if you have anything to add, please do.
I think no, you just added the perfect description of the course.
Thank you so much. I was preparing. And this time I think it should be better than the previous 2 streams because it gets better every time. Every time there are small refinements, and to a product that's already mature. What's mature is our desire to hear your questions and give you answers. So please, any questions that you have, you can either raise your hand or you can drop them in the chat. And please note, if you don't want to listen to the Q&A session, you don't have to. You are free to go. No problem about this. No hard feelings. And thank you, Marina, for visiting. I would like to, yes, I would like to know what your questions are. I go check the Telegram bot or the chat here. There's also a link. I see people saying thanks. Thank you for visiting. I really appreciate having you here. It's you who we are presenting for and sharing this knowledge and content and the opportunity to practice with. Katerina, thank you. Gennady, thank you so much. Appreciated the comments, corrections, and jokes, everything. Yeah.
Maybe not the question. Maybe you want to share some feedback or your expressions.
Feelings, suggestions,
ideas.
Maybe impressions, yeah, if you have those, please throw them in.
I really hope that you will make such activities again. I visited as a guest.
Okay. The next time with popcorn, right?
Yep.
Yes, of
No,
course.
with some smart comment.
No, with a notebook and the pen, right?
Yes, of course, it's a different
Okay.
hand. Yep.
Right. Let's give it a few more minutes. Maybe some people still have questions. Thank you, Sofia, for visiting. Thank you for attending. Natash, what do you think about adding more technical questions about diagrams, architecture, APIs, etc.?
I think we could. We will think about it, but it's just a little bit hard from the structure perspective, of the interview, but we will think about it. We had an idea actually about the diagrams, but so it was my personal thing that I really don't like such kind of question on the interviews because it's really strange sometimes. And it's hard to think about the good question about the UML, for example. Yes, we now have a discussion in the chat because this question for system analyst, I would not agree because it depends on the company, it depends on the position. We will think about it, at least.
I promise to think about this after I'm done giving everybody a smiling cat emoji. All right, that's what I'm doing right now. Just giving you let's say a little bit of cat love. Right. So the people who are still staying, I assume you have questions, right? Please ask. Please ask. All right. Well.
So going once, going twice.
And it's gone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gone. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate having you. And thanks for visiting. Katerina, once again, thank you for performing so well. And yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yana. Thank you, everybody. That's it.
And we will share the Notion, yes, with the answers.
Yes, we can share the Notion, absolutely. And if you want to see the answers, go to the suggested answers part of the Notion. Right. Have a good one. You too. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.